What is happening, J Gaming Dude here, and this time I'm going to be talking about Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time. See, I could have done this in any sort of way because I just finished watching this. I'd like to call it an anime, but like a lot of nothing happens, nothing goes anywhere, and the name doesn't actually mean anything. I mean, we have a main character called Peter Grill. That's probably a really, really dumb name. There was a different word I was going to use, so I'm just going to go with the word dumb for now. And stupid wasn't the other word that I was thinking. It starts with R, and apparently the internet doesn't look at it positively at all, so I have to kind of keep that one in. But yeah, so this is really just about Peter Grill trying to not pretty much bone every hot chick that he comes across, specifically monster girls. And that's really about it. There isn't much to say. The voice acting isn't really all that great. The animation kind of seems a little bit rough on the edges. It seems acceptable for the general part. The opening song, so the opening theme is okay at best, if not really that good. I did start warming up to the ending theme a little bit, but that was like maybe 3 or 4 episodes in. And I mean, there are 12 episodes of about 12 minutes each, so and that includes opening and ending, so yeah, I guess really just sort of take that for what it's worth. There isn't much to say because there isn't much to complain about, and there isn't really much good to say. It's just, it kind of went through my, like I looked at it with my eyes, and then things happened, supposedly, allegedly. Conspicuously, I'd imagine, but there isn't really much to say besides it that all it is just the main character not trying to bone every sort of hot monster girl he comes across. That's about it. And then whatever like main sort of conflict that there was in the show is in the last like maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and even then it just feels like a massive nothing burger with a because it doesn't feel like it actually adds to any sort of cohesive whole. Definitely feels more like a sort of how not to bone for that time of the week, on a weekly basis sort of. Well, I imagine that's kind of what the scheduling would have been for like it airing on a weekly basis. But I think beyond that, I'm genuinely at a loss of just being able to say more, because it just genuinely does feel like a whole lot of nothing going on. There's no overarching story among the episodes. It's not necessarily bad by any means. It's just, I didn't feel one way or the other about this show. So I think a solid 5 out of 10, I think, is where this kind of meekly falls under. There's a lot that I could complain about, and there's very little that I could say that I actually genuinely find good. But then looking at the whole thing in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't really feel like it's even worth the pain or bother of talking about it. And I think that might very well be the biggest indictment of this entire show. Also, like I said, the name doesn't actually mean anything. There is no Philosopher's Time. I don't know at what point does any of that actually happen in the show. If they just called the show Peter Grill, I think that would pretty much be about it. But maybe they just had to come up with a name at some point. I'm really, really like, maybe there's something else later on, because the whole season ends on a cliffhanger, and by all accounts, it genuinely doesn't deserve to have one. So I think with all that said and done, a solid 5 out of 10 is I think what this kind of falls under. So that's why I'm going to be putting it in my anime list. And so yeah, if you like this video, like the video, I guess. Dislike it if you didn't. I mean, there's really not much to say about that as well. I feel like the show's the apathetic feeling of the show is now kind of like leading into the rest of everything else that I'm saying, which is, oh man, that really is something in it. Anyway, comment on the video if you've actually seen the show and actually tell me things you like and dislike about it, because to be completely honest, for some reason I just really, really cannot be bothered to say anything good or bad about it, because it just feels like a lazy job at the same time. Yeah. It's just, yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like saying yeah the whole time and just being like, yeah. And that just kind of suffices the review. The indictment on the show, the biggest, I think if there's anything to take away from it, is the biggest indictment on the show being, it's just so mediocre to the point where very little care could actually be given to it as a whole. But yeah. And also subscribe to the channel because I'm actually aiming to hit 100 subscribers by the end of the year. And so what we're in August right now, I'm sitting at like 60 something ish. 65? 67 actually, 67, I just remembered now. So yeah, I'd like to hit 100 by the end of the year. And I'd also like my videos to go out to more people. So with all that said and done, I'll see you guys next time.